Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Happy end of second week of Camp Nano to all who celebrate. I'm Cody the Writer, if you don't know who I am, if you're here from Becca's channel, and I'm going to let Becca introduce herself.
Hi guys, my name is Becca. I'm a horror writer. I'm currently working on my first book, which is a paranormal thriller / horror. And I'm so happy to be streaming with Cody. This is our second one together. So, I had such a fun time the first time that I decided to show up again.
And, she'll be making guest appearances, I'm sure, multiple times as we continue on our streaming journey. But I am working on a redraft, which is basically the third full draft of my project, which is my very first mystery thriller book. And I'm very excited. Also, hi, Casey. Welcome. Yes, TGIF. We're so thankful, grateful, and blessed. Yes, all the sprints. Me and Becca actually kind of are overachievers. We both already done a little bit of writing today. But we're happy to be here to try to either catch up or get ahead on some of these goals that we set for ourselves in July. So we need these sprints too, and we're excited to start them. But the way this is going to go is we're going to do 3 sprints. They're all going to be about 25 minutes each. And then in between, we can chat. You can ask me and Becca questions. You can tell us about your story. You can tell us what's going well, what's not going so well, and we'll just chat about it. It'll be a great time. Hello, Ari. Welcome. Happy to have you today.
Ari, I know I commented on your video today, but I got to watch half of it and I just finished the second half. And it's so interesting that you mentioned about writer burnout, because I was literally telling Cody before the stream that I had to adjust my writing goals to avoid my writer burnout. But loved your video. I love getting to see your content. Happy to have you here.
Also, your dogs are precious.
So cute. Oh my God.
Just panting away in that back seat. He was like, I'm ready to go. You said we was about to do something, and now you got a camera. It was precious. But also, we have, thanks to Becca, upgraded our handy dandy timer for our writing sprints. Isn't it so aesthetic? We love to see it. But Casey and Ari, if y'all are down, we can go ahead and jump into a 25-minute sprint. Becca, do you have anything you want to talk about or anything before we start our first sprint?
I guess I just want to, I'll always reiterate words of encouragement. So thank you guys so much for being here. We are so happy that you can join tonight, and we wish you all the best of luck, whether you write 100 words, a sentence, or you beat a personal record. Like, we are rooting for you. And yeah, ask us questions. Tell us about your projects. We're nosy. We know each other's story pretty intimately because we talk all the time, but we would love to know way more about your guys' story and what you're working on. So yeah, let's all have fun. It's going to be a good time.
I second that. I am a very nosy person. Yes, got to take care of yourself for sure. And I love your dogs. They are perfect. All right, looks like everybody's ready. So let me go ahead and get our clock pulled up. Move it over to the focus. I'm still learning how to use this, but I think I'm doing okay.
You're doing great.
All right. So we're going to start our first 25-minute sprint. Best of luck to everyone. And here we go. All right, first sprint is done. Becca, how did you do?
I got about 300, considering that I was like mostly editing. I'm not mad at it.
Very nice. Yeah, I actually got like 250 because I did read over some of the stuff that I wrote pre-stream and just kind of like gave that a look just to kind of get myself back where I left off. But yeah, 250 added. How did everybody else do? We had a few more join. We got Glow Llama. We have Marley Mars, Anna. Welcome to the stream, everyone. So glad that you're here. How's your projects going this month? Did you set any goals for yourself? How are those goals going? If you weren't here for the first part, my goals for July are to write 5,000 words a week. So I'm hoping to have 20,000 in this redraft by the end of the month, and which will equal about 50,000 because I pulled about 25 from the draft before this one. And so we'll see what happens. Ooh, Anna's doing some beta reading. What are you beta reading for? I guess I can hide that. Already got 100 words. Love. Actually, my writing goal is the same as yours, Cody. 5K a week, which looks like I'm doing all that this weekend.
Oh.
Ain't that just the way it goes? Yeah, it's Friday. I've been keeping like a little tracker. I was showing Becca this before we started the stream. See if I can pull it back up. But I have some like little bubbles right here that I fill in for every 1,000 words. There's 25 there because my bonus goal is to write 25,000 words, but the hard goal is 20,000. If I can get 25, that'll just be a happy little bonus line. But yeah, at the start of this week, I was supposed to write 5,000 words last week. At the start of this week, I had 3,000 words written. So we've had to play a little catch up and write 7,000 words, but it's fine. We're on track to catch up. Anything fun happen in that? Does anyone? Oh, I haven't done this in the last couple streams, but if you would like, you can share a line that you wrote that you are really proud of, that you really like. I can start. So I'm describing a setting that the main character remembers fondly, but it has since been shut down, and it's like a dilapidated building, basically. And so I'm describing what the building looks like, and I really like these like little 2 sentences that I wrote. So I'm gonna share that now. The windows were shattered and boarded up from the inside. Layers of dirt and grime gave the outside of the building a dull gray hue, like a corpse abandoned by its soul. Yeah, I like that imagery there because it just kind of, it looks like a corpse of a building, and there's like no life, no soul, no nothing left behind inside of it. Got 445 that sprint, working on dark fantasy romance novel, first draft. Love that. Thank you, Glow Llama. Becca, did you want to share anything from that last sprint? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Let's see. Well, I think I'm being clever by... Yeah, I can share 2 things. Number 1, have you ever seen the movie Alien?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the one with the little alien that comes out of its mouth? Yeah.
So my heroine has a weird fascination with horror movies despite everything that's kind of happened to her. And she nicknamed her boyfriend's car, which is a BMW X6M, the Nostromo, because it looks like a spaceship.
Oh.
So I thought I was being cutesy with that. But for the line, I guess... Okay. Mount Rainier loomed in the distance, rising into the afternoon sky like a god sat upon their throne.
Ooh, like a god sat upon their throne.
It's funny, like, I try not to reread too much actually, like when I'm drafting. So like right now, because I'm doing like these minor edits for my chapter 5 before going on to my chapter 6. I'm doing that thing where I'm kind of judging myself a little bit. I told myself, I'm like, I was just putting words on paper. You're not in editing mode. And I'm going back and reading some of this. And I was like, were you okay when you wrote this?
Are you, girl, are you good? Are we okay?
There's this TikTok that I saw. Oh God, I don't remember the creator. And it's essentially, she's like, rereading my own writing is 3 different forms of, damn girl, you wrote this? Impressed. Damn girl, you wrote this? Concerned. Damn girl, you wrote this? Disgusted. Like that's the
3. But it's always, damn girl, you wrote this?
Yeah. I was like,
that's so funny.
That's like my thought process every time I reread anything that I wrote.
Yeah, I'm trying not to read any of this redrafting. I don't let myself read the chapter until I finish writing that chapter.
Yeah.
Because if I do read it, then I'm going to edit it, and then I'm going to read it again, edit it, and I'll be stuck in a loop, and we don't need that.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate, this is why I didn't want to do it yesterday. Because I knew this was going to happen. But it must be done before moving forward. And then I'm not going to do it again, hopefully, anymore for this draft. So
I believe in you. Let's see. OMG, same. Some of these chapters I wrote 6 years ago, and it's sad.
We're different people.
Yes. Like, but we all have the same struggles. Can't reread stuff without tons of time away from it. Yeah. I went back because, I mean, I wrote my first original chapter 1 of this book in October of last year. And by the time as I was writing the first draft, obviously the more you write, the better you're going to get at writing. Yeah. And I was watching one of Alyssa's videos before I actually started this draft. And she said, let yourself write a bad book because you can make it a good book later. And I was like, all right, girl, bet. And so I went back and read my original chapter 1, like before I did any editing to it. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Why is this? Cody.
What was the thought process here? Was there one?
Like, it was so, like, there was one paragraph, I swear, that was like, Logan said this. Logan went over here, because I could not word in that moment. So I just like wrote like a very crappy just paragraph to be like, this is what needs to actually happen here, but my brain can't make that happen on paper right now. So, but I like had already like pre-highlighted it because I was like, I'll come back to that later. And I rewrote that part.
I was like literally reading the description. So they pull up to like Will's family house, like up on the mountain. And it's literally like, the house has red wood, black trim. There's snow. You can see the last 2 brain cells that I had working so hard to come up with just that.
They were really just rubbing together. They were trying to Bluetooth audio the words to you, and it was not happening.
It was not happening.
The connection was not there.
But that's fine. That's
fine.
For later, Rebecca to figure out.
Exactly. The amount of things I put off on future Cody, that guy must hate me. Like, I just am like, oof, that's just tough. Let's do, I'm trying to think of a subject. It could be any topic that we can talk about for maybe like 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, and we can jump into our next sprint. It can be, and if you have a suggestion of what you want to talk about in the chat, feel free. We can talk about your favorite book currently, or movie, or talk about, I don't know, anything.
I would love if folks in the chat could drop some book recommendations, because I have been in the worst book slump. Mind you, I haven't really been reading all that much. I'm reading this one book called Slewfoot right now, which is kind of like it's kind of like The Witch with Anya Taylor-Joy. Very like folkish, like early American, super Christian village, like early settlers kind of thing. And I don't know if I've just kind of hit a wall with like horror books, or I've just been spoiled with Grady Hendrix books because those are half comedy, half like scares. But I cannot get into anything. And I'll read just about anything. I love fantasy. I don't dabble into romance that much, but like I am struggling to finish a book. I've DNF'd like 3 of them.
Yeah, I had that problem after I finished. I think I talked about it on the last stream with you when I finished Iron Flame, because I had just had so much fun reading those 2 books, because it was like, I mean, you know, there was death and things that happened that are not lighthearted, but overall, the vibe of the story was lighthearted. I was like the dragons were sassy, like I was having a good time, and so like trying to find a fantasy book after that to match that same vibe, I just couldn't. I think I started Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and it just wasn't my gig, and so I just like took a couple weeks off of reading and then picked back up a random book that sounded interesting, and that kind of pulled me out of it. I've never heard of the Thornbirds, but I was just looking it up. It looks like it was also a movie.
Thornbird.
Oh no, it was a TV show. It says 1 season. I don't know if it's based on that book that you recommended, but let's see. A priest forced to make a choice between his feelings and his ambitions in his sweeping adaptation of Colleen McAuliffe's novel. Ooh, in the Australian outback. Crikey. That was really bad.
Like it. You know?
The only thing, every time I hear an Australian accent, I just think of an Outback Steakhouse commercial. Get a shrimp on the barbie.
Oh my goodness.
Aurelian Cycle by Rosaria Munda. It has a sort of similarities to Fourth Wing, but even better in my opinion. Oh snap. Okay, hold on. Let me get out my Google.
Ooh, the cover looks cool.
Oh, really? I feel like I've heard about these recently. I don't know. It might have been someone talking about it on their YouTube channel. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute.
Y'all are coming through with the book recommendations, though. I
hold, please. I need to see.
Chat, it's you and me. We're holding.
I got excited because I thought that maybe that was the book that I had picked up. They're very similar. So that's the one that she recommended, and this is the book that I got.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because this one was actually recommended to me by the nice man at the Barnes & Noble Starbucks. So I was like, fine. And it was part of the buy one, get one 50% off. So, yep, it was fine. It wasn't expensive. Once There Were Wolves. Becca, I hope you're writing these down because...
Literally, I've been like Googling them as folks have been dropping it in the chat. So,
okay, so we're set. But yeah, I'm trying to think of a really good book that I finished recently so I can give a recommendation.
Yeah. While you think, I did not finish Mother Thing by Ainsley Hogarth. And here's the thing, I'll DNF a book even if I have like 5 chapters left. If I'm not having a good time, I'm just not continuing. So I think I was like 90% of the way done with that. Didn't finish that. I didn't DNF Babel, but it was really heavy. Oh wait, I love that movie. That might actually be the one that I go with.
The Never-Ending Story. I've never heard of that.
Have you never seen the movie?
No.
You've seen it. You have. That's a classic. Hold on.
The Never-Ending Story. Yeah, no, I definitely have never seen this.
Okay.
You can all shame me. Oh wait, I've seen this dragon in things before.
Yes. Yeah. No, we used to my husband's family dog was this little Maltipoo, like the traditional Mexican crusty white dog. And we would call her, I think the dragon's name is Falcor, so I would call her Falcor because she looks just like that dragon down to the ears. But watch it. It's so good.
I'm glad I'm not alone. Glow Llama also has not read or watched it, so I'm not alone in that.
No.
Novel is rather interesting and I thought creative. Very nice.
Is it on Kindle?
I'm currently reading that I'm actually really enjoying. It's not in here with me, but I'm currently reading, I think it's Geneva Rose, maybe. It's Home is Where the Bodies Are.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I was seeing it all over my Facebook page, and so I finally gave in to the hype. And I was at, I think, Target, and they had one copy left, and so I picked it up. And it's basically about three siblings whose father has disappeared, and their mother is very ill. And her dying words to her oldest daughter is, "Your father didn't disappear. Don't trust." And then nothing after that. And so they're cleaning out the house and they find a recorded videotape of a girl that went missing the summer of 1999. And now they are having to figure out what actually happened that night because the father's disappeared and the mom is dead. So they can't ask either one of them what happened. So they have to like sift through their mom's old journals and things to find clues to that night and find out. They don't even know where their father disappeared to. So it's very interesting, and there is a very strong dynamic between the three siblings. They're all so very different, which I really enjoy. And so you have three very different and very large personalities in the room, all trying to decide what's best. And it has the family guilt of and things like that, plays on that kind of aspect of, why didn't you care about mom when she was here? You care about her more now that she's dead, and all that, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But it's very good so far. I think I'm like 16 or 17 chapters into it. And maybe if I can push and knock out my words for this weekend, I can spend the rest of the weekend hopefully finishing that book, maybe. But are we ready to do another sprint? I know I am.
Yeah.
All righty. Got the clock up for 25 minutes. Best of luck to everyone. Here we go. Okie dokie. How did we do? I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you guys can hear the little finishing noise that the thing makes, but it definitely scared me. It was so quiet, and I was just like vibing, and then it was like, bring.
You can change it to something else. Also, I have music on, so like it fades into like the music that I'm listening to. But if you're working in complete silence, I can imagine how that's just like jarring.
Yeah. Well, it was silent, but there was some rain
Yeah.
happening quietly. I got like another 200. Not shabby. I'm doing a lot of dialogue right now in this particular scene. And so I'm really taking the time to make sure that each of the characters has their own individual voice. Because this chapter is the first time where we meet the rest of the cast in the story. So I'm really trying to very early on in their introduction build those character things that they do and the words that they say. Like I have fun little notes in the side, like Jackson speaks like a bro. That's what I wrote, and because I'm trying to like think of like one thing that separates them. So Jackson speaks like a bro. I put in here Claire always smells like coconut. That's just like a random thing that's kind of like out of the ordinary.
Mhm.
Julia has dimples like me. And then Anna is distracted on her phone and could care less. She gives the vibe that she has better things to do than to be here right now. So they're all very different. Claire is like the pick me girl. Jackson is the bro. Anna is the not nice person, and then Julia is kind of like mid. So you know,
I love it.
let me catch up on this chat. I don't know if you were paying attention, but Marley gave us some good tea
I
about this
did.
story.
I was reading that too.
I was like, dang, he hated the movie that was based on his own book. Like, that's rough.
That did prompt a discussion question for our break. If you don't have one, I have one.
Okay, go for it.
Well, you can catch up on the chat for a little bit first if you want.
Okay. Zook scared Glama. Got to the end of the book I was beta reading right as the alarm went off. Perfect timing. Love that. Already got 250 words. Yes, that is amazing. Woot woot. And Glow Llama made some dinner. We'd love to see that. We love a good dinner. And Miss Blogger, I'm pretty sure you asked this in the last chat, but I can tell you again. My favorite character in my story is my main character, Logan. Loves him. But Becca, are you ready to ask your question?
Yes. Okay. So in college, I took an adaptation, like literature class. So basically, the whole point of the class was to pick a work that was originally a book and then got adapted to either a movie, a show, a play, anything like that. And so it was interesting because there was this very cool discussion that we had in class about why something gets adapted and where like the room to play is in adaptation where you can change things. So my question to you and to chat is, do you have a book that was adapted, and did you like it and or not like the adaptation, and why?
That is good. So there actually really isn't, at least for me, that many to choose from because there's very few books that I have read that have been turned into a movie since, because I honestly really picked reading back up probably like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I read here and there, but it wasn't as much as I, did have in the last 2 years. But that's also because I was finishing my bachelor's degree, and then when COVID happened, I started my master's degree. So I was doing all kinds of reading for school,
Mm-hmm.
and I just didn't want to read in my leisure time because I was doing so much of that during my schoolwork. But um,
Ooh, did I freeze? Cody, did you freeze? Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on, chat. I'm letting him know. I think he's hopping back on. So I will chat with you in the meantime. Ari, that's such a good question. So I have yet to read Normal People. I feel like that's one that people always recommend, and it's always like 50-50, the book. I've also never seen the TV show. I have heard my friend Katie read it and she loved it. She was kind of like obsessed with it actually. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Cody's letting me know he's going to try and fix it. He's going to try and hop back on in a little bit. So for now, you're stuck with me. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to pick up Normal People. So my answer while Cody comes back, I think I've definitely mentioned this in another, I think in the last live stream that I was in, but I go hard for the Jurassic Park franchise. And I mean like the original movie. So I read the first and second Jurassic Park books and I've seen all of the movies. And growing up, I wanted to be a paleontologist. So like I just always had an interest in like dinosaurs and paleontology. And so when I read the books, I was so shocked to find how different they were from the movies in a way that didn't feel like they feel like two completely different things. I think the best way to describe it is that the books are definitely a little bit scarier. They're definitely more of like the horrors of scientific experimentation and like what happens when you're not really careful about the kind of power that you're wielding. And there are some scenes in the books that didn't make it into the first movie but actually get sprinkled into a couple of other movies. Whereas like Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park, and I've watched so many of the behind the scenes features that his intention was definitely to make it more of like an adventure, very much so like as a child watching the movie for the first time. And hold on. So it was just very interesting to see how the original book stacked up against the movie. And I will say they're fairly similar, but I think the book is better in my opinion, and I love the movie so much. So that I feel like that's really saying something. And the second book, The Lost World, is pretty different from the movie, I will say. Also really good. Just I love the raptors. I am fascinated by the raptors, and there's so many great scenes in the books that didn't make it into the movie. And I just really love that. So that was my spiel. There's a couple of other like adaptations where I'm looking at my shelf. I mean, obviously the Hunger Games series. I feel like I got to introduce my like 17-year-old niece to the Hunger Games over Christmas last year. And it was so cool getting to see her watch those movies for the first time and actually getting so invested in the story. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so cool. Oh, hey, Cody.
Hi, I'm back. I had to move to my laptop because my whole computer just froze completely.
Oh
no. And so I don't know how I'm going to save the words that I just got done writing. But hopefully at some point my computer will unfreeze and I'll be able to save. But it's fine. What I miss? What was your favorite adaptation? I know you've probably been talking about it this whole time, and I've just missed it.
No, I think I've chatted. I might have chatted about it on our last stream, but I was telling chat about my love of Jurassic Park, and the 2 adaptations that exist there, and also Hunger Games. I was telling them that I got to introduce my 17-year-old niece to the Hunger Games franchise over Christmas. And it was it was over Thanksgiving because the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes had just come out, and I was like, do you want to see that? She's like, sure. And I was like, but you have to watch these other ones first. I feel.
That's funny you mentioned that, because that was going to be my answer before I froze on the screen, was Hunger Games.
Really?
Yeah. But if I had to pick another source of media that might not be the most accurate, but I enjoy it very much, is Wicked. Because it's based on, the Grimm's tales and all that stuff, and it shows the darker side of the Wizard of Oz story. And so I would have to say, if not Hunger Games, then Wicked. It's just so good.
The other one that I was thinking, and this one's kind of unorthodox, the Pirates of the Caribbean's franchise was adapted from a ride instead of a book.
Really?
Yeah, because it's based off the ride from Disneyland.
And so the movies didn't exist whenever the ride was open?
It's kind of like Jungle Cruise, where the movie came after the ride.
Wow. I had no idea.
And to me, I think the first 3 movies of that franchise were just like so good.
Chef's kiss.
So good.
Excuse me.
No, you're good.
All right.
I want to answer Anna's question because she asked me a question about my headphones. Thank you. These are the Logitech. I don't want to lead you astray. I think they're the G75s. Hold on.
Well, my computer just turned off. So, it's restarting.
Okay.
We're just going to hope that it saved these words, because I'll be very sad if it didn't.
I feel Scrivener's pretty good at auto-saving pretty constantly.
Yeah.
Anna, they are the G435 Bluetooth gaming headphones. Would you like me to put that in the chat for you so you have it?
Or like drop a link to the Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
I share everything by links because it's just the easiest way to do things these days.
That is true.
Living under a rock because I didn't know Jurassic. Casey, we talked about that in the last stream, and we're basically going to start a dinosaur book club because I've never read it. Becca reads it every summer. Have you done your reread yet?
No, and I was literally thinking that as I asked the last question on our last break of like, I don't know what to read. I'm like, I might just go back to Old Reliable because I have a great time every time I read that book.
Yes. Love that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's been adapted that I've really enjoyed. I did like, so when I refer to this, I'm referring to the older movie, not the newer TV show. Okay. But I really loved the movie they made based on series of unfortunate events. That was a really, like, the one with Jim Carrey as Count Olaf. I did not enjoy the Netflix series as much as I enjoyed the movie. The movie just had a more of a whimsical kind of feeling to it than I felt the show didn't capture, because Lemony Snicket is such a, like, I just imagine him being like the most sarcastic person ever. Because if you've ever read any of his books, it always starts with, well, by now you ought to know that Count Olaf is a horrible person. But just in case you didn't, let me go ahead, just in case you skipped all my other books, let me tell you about him. And I love that kind of like snarkiness to his writing. And I felt the movie captured that better than the TV show. So that's an example of both. The movie, I loved. The show, not a fan.
That's so interesting. I think it's my husband and I have watched both. And I was tagging along with him as he was watching the Netflix series. And I think this is where that discussion of like adaptation is really interesting, right? Because what what works better as a show versus as a movie. And one of the things that he mentioned was, he's like, it was actually kind of hard to watch the Series of Unfortunate Event show because it's actually so depressing. Like, these kids never catch a break. And as opposed to sitting there for like 2 hours, right? And you watch it and it kind of has like a semi-happy ending. I can't remember the ending of that movie, to be completely honest with you, but I do remember the TV show. And it's just sadness over like 3 seasons because these kids can't catch a freaking break. And when you're watching, there's actually like a discourse online right now over how like depressing a lot of media is right now. We don't have a ton of happy shows like Psych or New Girl or like Friends even. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. Also, we have the book club is growing. So
Listen,
we need to make this a thing. Like, when should we start this book together?
believe it or not, there's not a lot of dinosaur book media out there. I feel like Jurassic Park is it, and it's done so well. Let me just say that right now.
Yeah.
Join my Dino book club.
I'm about to see if this backed up my writing and either be really happy or really sad.
I'm sending you prayers.
Oh, it saved everything.
Yay! Okay. I was like, I know Scrivener's pretty good at saving everything.
Thank gosh. I was going to be so sad because I've written almost 1,400 words today. I was going to be so sad if I lost all of that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Big setback.
See, Marley Mars preferred the film as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not alone in that. Moody in the way how they approach the filmmaking style, or yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for your happy support. I was really gonna be sad because I was actually like hit my word count goal for the day before the stream, so all of the words I got in the stream were gonna be bonus. So I was gonna be real upset, but all is fine. We're a-okay. But hold on, sorry, I was actually in that last stream. I also Googled some questions, but so I'm just going to ask one question, and then after that we'll do our last 25-minute sprint, and we'll call this a night, a very productive night. Mm-hmm. So my question for everyone is, where do you draw inspiration from? Personally, for me, I draw a lot of my inspiration. Honestly, the thing that has inspired a couple of my future books that I want to write, and kind of this one, is just watching people. Because like I have this thing that I like to do sometimes where I can be watching two people having a conversation. I can't hear what they're talking about, but in my head, I make up a scenario like of what they're talking about, like what's going on, because it's something that is hard for my mind to grasp sometimes. But every single person that you come across, you walk past, you meet, they have a whole story, a whole life, a whole everything. And so sometimes I'll just like look at two people having a conversation and being like, oh, this person did this thing and that they're talking about this and having this conversation, and that just kind of like spirals my brain down a rabbit hole until I latch onto an idea and I'm like, ooh, that's a cool thing. Let me make a story around that. And so I feel like I get that. Obviously, I get inspiration from media, watching movies, reading books, things like that. I have a story that I want to write called Don't Pull Over. And it's kind of like it's another like thriller situation. And the way that sparked in my brain was I was literally driving home from a friend's house and saw a car broken down on the side of the street and was like, what would happen if I had stopped to help these people and they didn't actually need help? And it was kind of more like a trap situation. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how my ADHD brain finds inspiration. Becca, what about you?
Oh, I definitely daydream a lot. So like music is like a huge inspiration for me. A a lot of the times my stories come in like bits and pieces or like scenes, and I actually need to practice writing short stories more and actually working, because I feel writing a short story is actually infinitely more complicated than writing a book, because there's so much you need to convey in like obviously a shorter amount of time.
Agreed.
But I think for me, when it comes like to like with the book that I'm writing right now, a lot of it has to do with themes and like things that I want to explore, or certain relationship dynamics between people. So like I have an older sister, but she's my half sister. I didn't grow up with her. So like I really don't know what it's like to like grow up with siblings.
That's so funny. I have an older sister that is also my half sister.
Really?
Yeah, we have the same dad but different moms.
Same.
Wow, look at that. Twins.
So it's like stuff like that. Like obviously some of it's like life experiences, but like exploring relationships that maybe I didn't have, or like ones that I did but I wish would have ended up differently. And so like, and I've kind of talked to you before, I think the reason that I gravitate towards like horror so much and like thrillers and things like that is I just find that it's such an interesting lens to use to explore things that you probably experience on like a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, sometimes it's a lot easier to digest things that actually apply to me if I'm reading somebody else go through it in an entertaining way. So I feel like that's where I get a lot of inspiration, is just like I make up a lot of stuff in my head and I kind of follow it. But the people watching is also, I remember a teacher of mine used to say that she would do just that. Like she would literally sit outside. She used to sit outside. She lived in New York. She would sit outside the Wall Street building and literally watch men, like, depending on their mood, figure out like the story there.
Oh, wow.
So I just thought that came to my mind. But
yeah. Let's see. I draw inspiration from hearing music, feeling people's conversation tones, feeling items in my mind wandering out of nowhere.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways that a story can come to a person. And this specific story, I think I've mentioned it in a vlog, but it started out as a friend of mine. She is a very talented comic book artist. She has been doing a series that she's been making. It's been really cool. And we were talking about an academia series, and she was like, "But I'm not really good at, you know, the scary aspect of it, or the adding tension. And obviously, I like to write things that are filled with scary things and death and tension." And you know, my mind started kind of like wandering, and I got a little too dark. And she was like, "That might be a little too dark for what I'm thinking." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And so, you know, we kind of talked a little bit about it more. And then because we were gonna like, I was gonna write the story and she was gonna draw it in comic form. And so then she decided to do something else that was based on a video game. What's it
Video
called?
games are also a huge source of inspiration. Maybe I know it. What is it about? Do you know?
If you give me like 3 seconds, I can tell you. But it's a platformer game. She also has a YouTube channel where she goes live and like draws the comics while she chats with people. So it's really cool. Her name is Brit Ninja, Britt, and then Ninja. Let's see. Undertale.
I love Undertale.
Well, she is doing like an Undertale prequel called The First Human. And so that's one of my like good friends. And so she started working on that. And I was like, "Well, do you care if I go ahead and, you know, write this story, but just in like a book version?" And she was like, "Absolutely." Because I was coming up with the story anyway. She was just going to draw it and make it look cool, because I can't draw to save my life. And so I was like, okay. And so that's how this story that I'm currently writing came to be, was just chatting with her and brainstorming with another artist. That is another good inspiration. Talking to other artist friends. I know in me and Becca chat, a lot of times we'll come to each other with an issue in our story or be like, man, I'm really struggling with this part. And she can offer advice to me and I'll offer advice, or she'll say something that sparks a whole other thought. And I'm like, oh, wait, let's riff off of that. Me and Becca love a good riff. Let me tell you
We
something.
do.
And so also inspiration from other creators. Actually, I love Abby Emmons' videos. I see them all over the place. I see her on Facebook, TikTok, all the things. She be popping up. I love a lot of her advice. People is such a crazy concept to me. Yeah.
They are.
Humans are wild. And everyone has their own motivations and goals in life. And it's just fun to just, in your head, imagine what a person's goals are just by looking at them and how they carry themselves and, you know, making assumptions. Because we do that naturally anyway. We make assumptions about people as soon as we see them for the first time without even thinking about it. So it's just kind of fun to do, and it can bring a lot of inspiration. People watching.
No, just people. Just people.
Just people in general are crazy. Why I was just logged into this. Why is it not letting me? Why is nothing wanting to work? Oh wait, that worked. Okay, just kidding.
Voila.
All right, and we're back. All right, so let's do our last 25-minute sprint. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right. Also, would anyone care if I played rain noise through this fun little app? Is that going to bother anybody? Because it's almost a little too quiet, and I want to just like use the feature that's already built into this for rain noise.
I vote yes.
Okay, sound off in the comments really quick and let me know if you're down for some rain sounds. And okay, Casey said, love me some rain. I also love some rain. All right. Well, I'm going to play that. Feel free to mute me if you do not want to listen to rain sounds. Let me make sure you guys can hear this, because I can't even hear it right now. Unless I'm doing something wrong.
We should play.
You know, and that's just the theme of tonight, is technological issues. So what if
fine.
I did this?
I was like, oh, do you have the sound sharing turned on when you do the screen share?
Well, I can't even hear it myself. So I feel like this is my go-to. So we'll just, not a bad. Gross.
You know, I pay for YouTube Premium, and I really hate that I won't go back. Like, that's $20 a month that I actually don't mind.
Can you hear that?
I cannot.
Let me see. Oh, well. We can just do the sprint, and I'll figure out how to make the sounds work for next time. All right. 25 minutes. Here we go. And if you randomly hear rain start to play in the middle of this, it's because I figured it out. Here we go.
Okay, the chime is aggressive.
Told you. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
Let's turn off that. All right, how'd you do?
That is such a loaded question because I just realized that like all of the chapters that I had like scrapped to start over, I didn't actually need to scrap. So my scrivener says I wrote 8,000, almost 9,000 words.
Yeah.
That's not true. I think I wrote like 200.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what happened. Because my scrivener's telling me that today I've written 3,081 words, but that doesn't seem right. But it might be because I think I started this chapter today. And this chapter almost has 2,700 words in it. So maybe that is right. Am I crazy? Do I have less than 1,000 words to reach my goal this week? Am I?
Wait, no, that kind of sounds right though.
Yeah.
Because
I
how
don't
many
know.
did you have done before you got in? You got like 1,300? 1,000?
Yeah, I had like 1,100 before we started this. Maybe I did. I don't know. But also the reset could have just made it calculate weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
But everything looks like it's in the right place. But whatever. I was able to fill in another little bubble. But how did everyone else do in the chat? Let's see. I'm so glad I was able to get the rain sounds to work. 84 words, finished eating first. Hey, that is the most important. But if there's nothing else, I think we can wrap it up for the night. We've been going for a little over 2 hours. I hope everyone made some amazing progress. Becca, do you want to tell the kids where they can find you?
Yeah, so I also have a channel just like Cody. You can find me. It's literally just Becca Tobar. And I'm also doing some live streams this month over on my channel. I go live Tuesdays at 6, and I have one coming up this Tuesday. I've also decided to add a live stream on the 23rd. So there's 3 more streams coming for me. And I also have a video going up tomorrow about my second week of Camp Nano. So if you guys want to watch that, it's a long one, but I think it came out.
And just so you guys know, you might be seeing Becca on another live stream this month. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And you might also be seeing another mystery author tuber on a live stream next week. So look out on my community tab because I'll be making an announcement there at some point this coming week to let you know who is going to be joining me. And yeah, thank you all so much for being here. And I hope you all had a very productive session. I am about to get ready to go and watch A Quiet Place Day 1 at the movies with my fiance to celebrate all of the great work I did today. So have a wonderful rest of your evening and happy writing. Bye.